Day two Purple Frog update. Boy, it's been a long day. I'll just say that. I was a little disappointed today because, I get it. That like sometimes things don't work out like we plan. I've worked for several companies that uh, it just didn't work out in the end. And the one thing that I will say is though, um, you know, these big companies, these people like if I have something I can do different with Purple Frog. Um, I'm going to try to, at least observe, pay closer attention, or never forget how it was, when an owner had the opportunity to help me, and instead they said it's just business, you need to try harder. But the reality was, like, that was actually the time then they should probably have been pouring on more, incentive. I mean, like, especially when I've been $1 million producer on a regular, in the past. And the thing is, like, I've got glitches. Most salesmen do. I mean, most salesmen are quirky. They've got some quirks. They're a little different. They think outside the box. That's probably why they're good, because they observe things that others don't catch. But, I was really disappointed. I talked to, I don't even have to say their name, but I talked to someone that owed me money earlier in the week, and I had a job we had done, and the job finally closed out. And I said, "Oh, cool. So finally I'll get paid for that." And yeah, was the answer I got. And then today rolls around, and I didn't get paid. And it's like, I'm sure I know why I didn't get paid. Probably because I'm trying to do something to benefit myself instead of giving away half of my money for no good benefit or results, other than I'm sure a nice guy for sharing half of my money. And I will say still, thanks for the opportunity, I guess, even though it really wasn't much of an opportunity, because if I had to finance it myself and guess at the protocol, or find out protocol when someone's screaming it at you when you've never been taught it, it's not the best time. And so for somebody that has the potential to bring in $20 million worth of commercial projects, I think that maybe I'll take a note that I'm not that important. The people around me are who's important, in a company or in business. Like, whoever the owner is, they're just the owner. I mean, and I say that I may change my mind here soon, but the reality is, I should be the hardest worker. If I'm the one that's the owner, I should be setting the standard. I should be the one, the one that is leading by example, leading from the middle, so to speak. And I see a lot of roofing companies that I've been involved with that I'm sure they hustled back when they first got into the industry, but not too long after they cheated, or they were spoiled at it because they figured out how to manipulate people. They studied psychology and the art of war, so to speak, when it came to dealing with people. And I never, I've read some of that stuff just because I've had bosses insist it. But the reality is, I'd read it and I'd think, how hokey is this? Why don't you just be real? Like, real people know they need a roof. For instance, no, real people know they pay insurance for a reason. Real people know that, hey, if I can get it for the cost of my deductible because you've just shown me legitimate damage to my home, it's a no-brainer. It's just, how do you convey that? You don't treat a customer like they're an idiot. You don't treat a customer like you although you should be the expert, you are the expert. People don't like to be treated like idiots. I mean, people don't like to be treated like they don't know. And that's kind of what I felt today when I didn't get paid. It was like, cool, I understand that you may feel that you have overpaid me because of a draw on a job that didn't transpire. Well, I guess I probably should have kept every receipt, every gas receipt, and all those other things that I spent, or the jobs that I helped the other guys on the team that I was supposed to be paid for. And I never saw any of that. I barely could get the money that I was owed for the residential jobs, which also made it where I never had time to pursue commercial properties because I had to be on my own jobs and manage them. Well, I don't know. I learned a lot through the last several years. Through my 12 years doing this, but overall, the last couple of years have been really interesting because I've worked for companies that considered themselves to be very successful in this. I mean, and if you consider the amount of contracts they'd signed and projects they encountered, sure. But success is not measured by your bank account, I don't think. I mean, really, because I know a lot of really horrible people, like the company I worked for 2 companies ago, that he's the worst human I've ever met in my life. He lives his life by greed. He lies, he cheats, he steals, and he thinks he is the standard for a good human in this world. I mean, because he has money. Well, he's stolen from me personally. He owes me $68,000 right as we speak. He's stolen from every employee that ever worked there. He made his fortune and his legacy on the backs of guys that he would fire in a minute and replace them with a new one. And I don't know. I never want to be that guy. I never want to be that guy that thinks that I'm more important because all of a sudden I'd made more money. No, I'm blessed by God if I make more money. And if I make more money, it's so that I can be a blessing to others. I really am looking forward to setting myself at a modest salary. I mean, don't get me wrong, I deserve to be paid, especially all the headache I put up with dealing with some people, But no, I'm just saying, I want to put a modest salary. That's why I do this, is to eat, but also, I'm going to look at it like a logical person would, and all of a sudden I don't have near the expenses I had. My work trucks are, something I can use, but I don't care if they're mine or the company's, or pay for my gas, reimburse it, because I'm constantly working and advertising, especially if I have, some lettering on my truck. I don't know. I just wanted to get back on here. I told you guys I'd give you updates on a regular, and it's been a bit of a weird day. Like I said, I was all excited. I didn't hardly get to bed till almost 4 o'clock this morning, and then I woke up today and I've just been running behind, I felt like, all day, and I didn't know if it was going to get done, and I was really starting to have my doubts. And I talked to a couple different people about partnering with me, and in reality, that's just an opportunity for a fight. I don't need a partner to tell me that what I can and can't do, or if I can and can't give something away. I need support for sure. I need wisdom around me, but I do not need someone that has the same ability to say yes or no when it comes to the decisions that the Lord may or may not put on my heart. So if the Lord directs me to do something tough, it's already bad enough to deal with him. Well, how am I going to convey that to another human being that doesn't even serve the Lord? So I thank God that he stopped me there and he made a way. So I'm working on getting my cards ready. I've already got the order prepared. I've got my logos sent in. I've got them prepped for what I want on them, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I just can't wait, guys. I should have my EIN back next week. I'll also be able to have my get my new bank account set up. I'll have my Supply House account, my ABC account, linked to my roofer account, which will be real-time numbers, just like the most recent companies I've worked with. Why would a company have that option in their CRM to be able to link the exact true pricing to the CRM and allow that way the salesman could adjust the profit margin if they say we won't go below this percentage or we want to hit this target? Well, there's a little slider on there, you can adjust it, but they never let us use the real pricing for some reason. Sounds like to intentionally confuse someone. Well, that's again another thing. You'll never, ever, ever, if I happen to have 2 or 3 salesmen, hopefully by the end of the year or something, and we begin to grow, as I feel like we can scale pretty quickly, I'm gonna be transparent, because I know what it feels like to have a boss or an owner or someone who's over you that actually writes your checks, be in the dark, keep you in the dark about the truth. You can't build trust, you can't grow a company unless your employees know that you're trustworthy. Or if you're an employee, do you want to work for someone who will lie to you and try to steal from you over $20 or $30 because they're playing the long game? Nah. You know, um, my goal is I want to see us all succeed. I want to pay the subs more than what others are paying them. Not because I want to try to retain them, but because I feel like I wouldn't have anything unless I have the guys to build the job. So, anyway, day 2 going well. Got it filed, and we will be continuing on some more tomorrow. I'll let you know how the progress goes. And again, thanks for tuning in. Keep us in prayer. And I really feel like the Lord, is doing this. I've always felt like I've told people in the past that I had this feeling in my heart that the storm restoration or roofing industry was going to finance my ability to maybe house others, to clothe others, to feed others, to take care of other people. My heart and passion is helping others get out of their circumstances, teaching them new things, and showing them a new way to live. And so keep me in your prayers. Like I said, Purple Frog Roofing, and we have our subsidiary company that we're also getting set up there. It's going to be Eagles Wings Community Help Project, completely nonprofit, so that we can get you that tax write-off. So, all right, thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to sharing again some more tomorrow. Love you guys. Good night.